Yo, what up YouTube? Yes, right, we coming back at y'all with another real versus fake, yo. And these are the cream triple white Yeezys. And yes, man, all I want to say is one thing is these are by far the hardest Yeezys to tell from real or fake. By far. It's absolutely really scary, guys. Let's take this side of the shoe out first. And I want to get what y'all let me know which one y'all think is real, which one y'all think is fake. So like that. Bam, bam. Check them out. See, oh. Alright, so y'all let me know which one y'all think. This side or right side real quick. Alright, if y'all haven't guessed it yet, this is the real, these are the fake. So I'm gonna put laces out to let y'all know these are fake, alright? And like I said, these are very scary, very hard. I got confused a couple of times myself checking out these things because it's damn near the same thing. Just because it's all white, man, just the only little details I could find that it just tells you which is real and which is fake, you know, just very little details. But alright, let's get into it. Alright, from the box side, it's basically near the same thing, but you can tell, you know, overseas it kind of got beat up. This is pretty much, make sure it's like, you know, like a perfect box. I mean, the color wise, I want to say this is a little bit lighter, like just a smidgy, but not too much that you can really tell, to be honest. But you know, like the 350 is basically the same, the font's basically the same. It's really hard out there. And this is the real and the non-real. The only way I can really tell if the font is a little bit more bold on the real compared to the non. See how it's a little bit thinner, the wording in the letters. See, it's a little less bold compared to this one. That's the only difference I can really tell. Alright, another way I can tell from the actual shoe, guys, like it's pretty much damn near the same exact thing from the stitching on the white stitching. See that? It's pretty close. It's almost exact same thing. You gotta be very careful. Even on the patterns on the white, it's pretty close, guys. It's just that because it's white, so it just blends in better. But one way to tell, guys, is the yellowing on the soles. It seemed like on the non-retails it's a little bit more brown compared to these are just a little bit more yellow. If you guys can see that, that's another way I can tell, to be honest. But like I said, it gotta be side by side. So yeah, guys, so on the toe box on here, on the soles, it's just a little bit more thicker on the non-retails compared on the retails. Okay, let's talk about the tongue height, yo. Tongue height on the non-retails is a little bit shorter. See how it's a little bit more even compared on the retail, which is the tongue is a little bit more higher. See, it kind of goes up to that slope. See, look at that. Bam. And then on the non-retails, it's like exactly parallel. Alright, so maybe on the pull tab, you can kind of tell that on the real ones, the retails, like the pull tab kind of goes down a little bit, has a little bit more spacing right here. See that? Compared on the non-retails, it's almost up to the stitching right there. And then on the retail, you can almost see the 350 supply much better compared on the non-retails that you can't really see. Like you can see the 350, but you can't really see the other one. The other one's just a little bit more flat. Like you see 350 and SP, you know, you can't really see it that well on the non-retails. On this one, it's a little bit more flush compared to the retail. You can kind of see it kind of coming out right there. You see that? This is the non-retail, but it's very little. I mean, it's gonna be hard to tell. All right, this is gonna be what my number one look for if it is a non-retail. The back pull tab part is completely flat. And on the non-retail is a little bit more kind of like how other V2s are. They're kind of like, you know, pushed together, like, you know, like scrunched together. But maybe I guess you could flatten out like this, but you can kind of tell it wasn't flat to begin with. Now this is the stitching on the real ones, and this is the stitching on the non-retails. See the back stitching compare? That's one way to tell. See how it's kind of nice stitching right here, and on the non-retail cannot see it very well. Very little. Very thin. This is the back part. This is the retail. You see the stitching here. See the difference? This is the retail, non-retail. Has a little hump to it. The way the tail is the back part, you can see, like I said, there's a little more browner on the yellowing on the non-retails, and on the retail it just has a slight yellow to it. Just a very slight yellow to it. But like I said, man, they damn near got this. Just it's close, man. You have to be side by side. Look at the back right here. Non-retail. You see this little stitching right here? This is more cream of an off-white yellow compared to this. This is like a flush white right here. Look at that. Bam. This one is not. It's like an off-white. That's the color difference. Let's talk about the paper. Like I said, this is like a regular tissue paper inside the retail, and this is more like a grocery bag in the non-retail. A little bit more shinier, and it's a little bit more stiffer. This is just like paper, you know, something you blow your nose into. Like, swear. I mean, it has come down to that, guys. It has come down to that. And of course, also inside the retail got this little sticker here. The non-retail does not have a sticker, but it does have the tag. Is basically the same. The tag is basically the same thing. Alright, let's look at the insole. Like I said, it's basically the same thing, almost. White with the Adidas Yeezy. If you look real close at the logo of the Adidas logo, it has like a white stripe into the logo. That's like an actual white stripe right there. It's not part of the insole, it's an actual white stripe compared to on the non-retail, there is no white stripe. It's basically like it's just cut apart, like it's part of the insole. And this is the actual white stripe screening print. Y'all see it? I hope my camera's picking that up. But yeah, that's what I mean about that. So check for that, alright? If anyone asks for insole, like, make sure you get a close, clear picture of the insole right there like that. If y'all can get it. See, it has a white stripe to it. Alright, back of the insole is basically the same, almost. This is the retail, non-retail. Maybe this is just a little bit more brighter white on the bottoms, but it's basically the same thing. Look at the Adidas logo. You see it has the dots on the retail. These 3 dots here, dots, dots, dots. The non-retail does not have any dots. Completely clear. So there's one way to tell. Now inside the tag can be a little tricky. This is gonna be the retail. The retail, look at the bold. The boldness of all the lettering is actually thinner compared to this is the non-retail, and you see how the lettering is a lot more bold and thicker. Now look at the bottoms. Like I said, the yellowing is basically they got it pretty good. It's just a little bit more browner on the non-retails compared to the retails. Let's look at the boost though. Compared to this boost. Whew, it's close, yo. It's pretty close. I want to say maybe on the non-retail it's a little bit more defined compared. Like there's a little more details in the non-retail compared to the retail in the boost. But feel-wise, I want to say the non-retail is a lot more softer compared to the non-retail. It's a lot more stiff. Like it's harder for me to push in compared to these. This feels like more like a marshmallow. Marshmallows.
Well, Chris, what about the UV light test? Can we do that?
Well, yes we can. Here, I'll show y'all right now. Look at this UV light. See how this line right here? You can barely see it. It's not as defined compared on the retail. This is the retail. You can see all the lines. Very nice. All defined. You can see all of them. See all that? See all the lines? You can see basically clear as day. On the non-retails, you can really barely even see it. Like it's not even coming through. The design of these stripes, see? You can barely see it. It's not as defined compared on the retail. So there, it does not pass the UV light test. You can see a little bit of stripes, but it's not as defined compared to the retail. See that? See the difference? Retail, non-retail. Here it is. You can see on the non-retail, you can actually see the sole glowing, which on the retail you cannot.